Hello everyone, you're welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you all for tuning in to listen. My people, now say President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, this is regime the regime where we say Nigerians no go forget in a hurry. He has been trying every possible means to silence the voices of Nigeria. He does not want anybody to speak ill of the government, knowing fully well that he's not doing well at all. In as much as in they talk say yes, so if they do this one, they do that one, but Nigerians are not seeing it. Every day frustration won't kill Nigerians. You know, say now this Idris Abdulkarim music when you ban. He no say now another means of wahala now he don't open for himself, because Nigerians they don't already magnify the issue. People will be say they never listen to the music before, now they go look for the music. Nigerians they really give am woto. You know, it's really bad that Nigerian government, they don't want anybody to speak anything bad about the government. They just want everything wey they do make Nigerians open their eyes, just keep quiet. They watch them, they squander Nigerian money the way they want them, they run the government the way they want them, and make people no talk. But now Nigerians say no, youth don't rise up. Apart from youth, mama, papa, everybody don't stand up. People will be say they never do social media before. Una know say because of this matter where they grant, or the matter where they happen now, starting from this Romi killing, everybody don't they come out. Everybody don't they come out, don't they speak out. Nigerians are really angry. The way and the manner this thing they take the workers they go so. Now big revolution now in the workers so. We just hope and pray say this our revolution no go share more blood. But I doubt it with the way Fulani herdsmen they go. And the way the youth are ready to tackle the Fulani. So guys, Nigerians are talking, Nigerians are still ranting. I'm going to drop the video for you guys to watch, and please don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you have not. Subscription is free, just for you to be getting updates anytime we drop our news. And again, please help us to like and share our videos so that Nigerians they go know what is happening in Nigerian political landscape. Thank you and bye.
In regards to this, I'm going to borrow from the words of the former president of Nigeria, President Goodluck Jonathan. He said that it's easy to wake a man that is sleeping, but it's very hard or almost impossible for you to wake a man that is pretending to sleep. So I want to bring this to your notice. What is happening in Nigeria at the moment, and to be more specific in northern Nigeria, do you think it should be likened to a man that is sleeping or a man that is pretending to be sleeping? A question. But well, in my own opinion, it can be likened to a man that is pretending to be sleeping. And what are my reasons? I want you to watch this so that you will see my reasons.
This Boko Haram issue started since 2012, and I was in the military intelligence that time. The intention of it's on the internet, so it's not even about the people we interrogated. The intention is to Islamize Nigeria and practice Sharia, and it doesn't matter if some people die, it doesn't matter if you're embarrassed, it doesn't matter if our economy has degenerated. Look at the interest rate, look at the inflation rate, look at the debt profile of Nigeria. They don't care. So I'm not coming to the air to whip up sentiments, no. I have been in the system. I work with Abacha government, I work with Babangida government, I work with Abdul Salam, I work with Yar'Adua Obasanjo as a core insider of operations. And there are some hardliners in this government that are sponsoring this kind of narratives. They just want to show that they can Islamize this country. They think about Taliban, they think about the Mujahideens, and they want to replicate it in this country. And they don't care what happened. They simply don't care, as long as at the end of the day, there's Sharia, and there is whatever thing they have in their head, and they want to achieve. You remember?
So practically speaking, do you think that concept have changed as far as the North is concerned at the moment? What the media have succeeded in doing is giving them a different name, a redefined name. Bandits, cattle rustlers, kidnappers. That is what the media have succeeded in doing. And what do you need to ensure this? You must make sure they are uneducated, and even if they are educated, they must be fanatically inclined. When they are fanatically educated, it doesn't matter what you have read. Fanaticism will override that. And that is the reality. That is just the fact. And if you think that the government is not aware, the government is fully aware. But the fact is, you can't rule out some elements of selfishness in the midst of all this and a lot of it. But the fact is, the government is aware, but to some certain extent, they will not come out and tell you things the way it is. But the fact is, they are expecting you to use your tongue to count your teeth. And that is why the DSS boss told you this.
I'll share experience with you when I was state director in Bauchi. Most of you will remember an incident in Azari. A group of terrorists, the Boko Haram then, had invaded Azari. They were shooting in an attempt to kidnap, and the community chased them. They killed some members of the community, but the community members killed all of them. The last guy, Khalid, climbed onto a tree and was fired. The community stood. They were resilient and they killed Khalid. Since that day, there has not been one terrorist attack in Azari. As a matter of fact, the former head of state, General Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida, said, and I quote, "If we want to stop or curb this terrorism, we shall emulate the Azari example." Tafawa Balewa also happened to be a local government in Bauchi that was always in flames. And the people of Bogoro and some part of Tafawa Balewa, where the Sayawas are, rose up on one occasion. They knew their terrain better, climbed onto trees and mountains when the invaders came. They did not only repel them, they seized their weapons. And since then, you can attest to it that you hardly hear about Tafawa Balewa again. What I'm trying to say, the practical approach to mobilizing people is that you have to get everyone involved. You do not expect the Nigerian Army, police, DSS to protect every Nigerian or every community. It is not going to work. In the US, if you visit someone in the house, you will be shocked that when the guy hears a police siren, he will just pull his drawer, bring out his gun and keep it. So one of my hosts did that, and I asked him, "Why are you putting gun here?" He said, "Well, if they are chasing someone and he enters my house, I'll shoot him first." And that is the layer we have to start thinking about. How?
So what am I trying to say? In regards security, it's up to you, it's up to a community to actually phantom a way of dealing with that while you wait for the federal government. But what do you have in Nigeria? I've seen communities where even to contribute 500 naira levy for security, to pay their own local security, is a problem. You are still waiting on the government. You are still waiting on the government to solve all your problems. You have a lot of jobless youths that are in that community that are looking for a job. But the fact is, when it comes to protecting your community, you prefer them to do a free job. And that is why you have a lot of millionaires, a lot of billionaires in a community. But you get to see that they are being ravaged by this insecurity, and all they do is come to newspaper and push the blame game. So it's up to anybody that is listening to this. The problem of the North is like the fight of Armageddon. So don't wait for the fight of Armageddon to happen. Why do I say the fight of Armageddon? Because last, when everything's set, you will get to see this fight I'm talking about that is going to come from the North. Because it's going to be a fight between the minority tribes that see things differently and objective people, and a fight against people that still conceive this same ideology of domination in the name of fanatical beliefs. That is what I'm saying. Do you get my message? My message is not just to the North, but to empower who needs to be empowered to protect his terrain without waiting on the government, just like the DSS boss have told you as well. If I must tell you the facts, the ones I pity most in the midst of all this are the Easterners. Though despite the fact that I pity you, I don't pity you entirely. Because I believe the power lies within you. The power lies within you. And the fact is, I want to bring this to your notice. In as much as there's marginalization, you complain of marginalization, but marginalization cannot be proven on paper, because there's nothing that can be proven on paper. Because the way you are complaining about marginalization is the same way even the minority in the northerners are actually marginalized, but they cannot speak. But why I say I can't pity you is the fact that you have the power. You are productive. You have the means. You are very productive. You have a lot of millionaires and billionaires within you. What is your investment in terms of security? A lot of atrocities happen and your billionaires and your millionaires cannot even come out and speak. They cannot come out and speak. And what is their investment in terms of security? So little. Are you waiting on the federal government to do that for you? You are joking. You have all the power. First of all, industrialize, number one. Secondly, invest heavily in security. Invest heavily in security. I don't actually understand why you think that the presidency is what will bring about total change for you people. You have no excuse.
Dr. Abati, Abdul Karim again is back in the news. We know that his previous song, I believe it's Nigeria Jaga Jaga, was banned, by radio during President Olusegun Obasanjo's reign in 2004. Now we are seeing almost the same, sort of ban coming on his song. But we know that Jaga Jaga became some sort of anthem after that ban.
Okay, censorship has been one of the major problems that artists have faced in the world. In the past, even Copernicus was censored. Other writers were censored, including the man that created the Protestant movement and all of that. So many books, so many songs in history that were banned and burnt. But many of those, artistic works have been revealed to be works that contain truths, that told the truths about the world. Even Galileo Galilei, when he said that the world was round and not flat, it was, sanctioned. Even Cicero had his tongue pulled out of his mouth because they said he was saying things that were not acceptable, not fit to be broadcast, and that he didn't exercise discretion. I use the word not fit to be broadcast because that's what section 3.1.8 of the National Broadcasting Code of Nigeria is relying upon. Now, here, we're dealing first with censorship and the futility of it, and the abrogation, the abbreviation of the right to freedom of expression under section 39 of the Nigerian Constitution. In the United States, they will call it the First Amendment. Now, the NBC operationalizes a subsidiary regulation. Are we dealing here with overreach on the part of the National Broadcasting Commission? There have been issues about the current extant NBC code, and now they arrived at some of those provisions in that code. Now, the discretion that they are talking about, that should also be a question that the people running the National Broadcasting Code should ask themselves about the quality of their discretion, about the quality of the maturity that they bring to the work. But that's another question for another day. But we see censorship as a form of dictatorship. And the Tinubu administration must resist dictatorship, particularly with the freedom of the imagination, with the freedom of the artist. Second, this is not the first time that Abdul Karim will face this kind of situation. In 2004, that was when he released Jaga Jaga, Nigeria Scatter Scatter. Even President Obasanjo directly attacked him because of that. I think that particular song was also sanctioned. But the limits of censorship is that when you censor something, when you ban something, you can even promote it. Nigeria Jaga Jaga, Nigeria Scatter Scatter became almost a national anthem, in spite of the ban in 2004. In 2024, this same Idris Abdul Karim released a song titled Emilokon, in which he criticized President Tinubu. And now he has released this one, say, Tell Your Papa, in which he is sending Sheyi Tinubu to his father to say, look, Nigeria is not okay. People are hungry. People are this and that. What the NBC has done by banning people, by misapplying and misinterpreting Section 39 of the Constitution, is that people now will begin to go and look for this song.
Yes.
What we teach students in the field is about how you can use song as satire. So I think that this is a satirical song, and many Nigerians may now have been motivated by the National Broadcasting Commission to go and look for it, to find out satire. So banning things, banning knowledge, banning expression did not work in the 12th century. It did not work in the 13th century. It did not work in the 19th century. It's not likely to work now.
All right. Well said, Dr. Abati. Well, we'll take another story now. The controversy surrounding President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's appointments has taken center stage in social discourse. Tinubu's appointments have been criticized for allegedly favoring his tribesmen and women over other Nigerians. Last week, Senator Ali Ndume, an APC lawmaker, publicly accused the president of violating the federal character principle in his appointments. Well, in response to these allegations, the presidency released a list of appointees and their geopolitical zones, revealing a notable underrepresentation of the Southeast and a significant number of appointments from the Southwest, the president's home region. However, critics pointed out that the list was incomplete. Notably missing was the president's chief of staff, Femi Gbajabiamila. Well, in response, Sunday Dare, the president's special advisor on media and public communication, apologized for the errors in the list and promised an updated version. Remember, I know that you saw this Sunday Dare's tweet that was trending. I believe that he has deleted it. The report from the Sun newspaper claims that the federal government has decided to disregard the 70-30% ratio for career diplomats and political appointees in the recent list of ambassadorial nominees. The report quoted a source from within the ministry, stating that the list is currently undergoing screening by security agencies or political figures, such as former senator representing Kaduna Central, Shehu Sani, former aviation minister Femi Fani-Kayode, and former presidential aide Reno Omokri have been reported in the media as part of the nominees undergoing screening. I believe that they said that the source also expressed concern that the move prioritizes political interests over career expectations of diplomats, potentially leading to inadequate representation for the country. That is the source from, the Sun newspaper quoting. I mean, we did see those names. They are not verified, but we saw those names and people are screaming, Reno Omokri, Femi Fani-Kayode, and all of that. Your thoughts on the stories?
Well, there's a lot to unpack, but let's begin with the issue of federal character that we touched on earlier in the program. And I think all of this is about, shall we call it empowerment? Because when you look at it's about trying to create representation. So the principle of federal character is about ensuring that there is fairness in the representation of every geopolitical zone when it comes to the decision-making bodies of this country. Of course, we know the antithesis of this is where we are coming from. We are coming from a place where there has been disunity, where there's been marginalization. Various groups feel that way. So this is something that was supposed to bring everybody to the table, create unity, and create a sense of inclusion for all involved. Now, this particular issue raised by Senator Alin Dume, he's not the first person to raise this issue. This has been raised several times in the past. And of course, when you look at the list, people are saying that this particular tribe, the Yoruba tribe, is dominant. So even if you break it up and you say Southwest and so forth, Southwest and into the various geopolitical zones, they're saying that, well, the majority there are still Yoruba. That's number one. Number two is that there were a number of names missing. From there, I believe the most recent appointments from NNPC were not reflected there. There's a number of names that people are saying, like you said, Femi Gbajabiamila was not there.
Yes.
So how can we say that this is a robust list of the political appointments that have been made? Now, I understand the strategy at play, because when former President Buhari was criticized of the same thing, his advisors also did the same thing. They released a list that stated each of the geopolitical zones represented. Now, in all fairness to him, when we looked at that, because remember President Buhari was often accused of always prioritizing the north. But when you look at the breakdown, it was distributed across different tribes in the north. Is that a justification? Well, that's one of the arguments. But for this, people are saying that we now wait for the final list, because this was supposed to vindicate you, but it seems you now created more hot soup for yourselves. People have the statistics. Let's see what they will share for us now. 2 years down the line, federal character is supposed to be implemented from the beginning. Another challenge is the fact that federal quota in and of itself, federal character is not a quota. So the Constitution doesn't say that this is the number of people that has to represent each place. It speaks of fairness. So maybe that's something that needs to be looked into until we get to a place where there can be that equality in representation. Now, 2 years without ambassadors is absolutely just shocking. Yesterday there was some criticism around, not just yesterday, throughout this week there's been criticism around the president being in France for a working visit, and the fact that we don't even have an ambassador there, and then reports saying that, well, the French president himself is actually not in France at the moment. He's here somewhere in Africa attending to some business. And we just ask ourselves, all of this in the absence, who is representing Nigeria? Who is holding fort for the nation at the moment, where the world is at a massive precipice? Conversations are being had. Diplomacy is what's leading right now. But we don't have anybody to represent us in these high-level conversations at the moment. So many things to unpack there.
We're waiting for Sunday Diary's updated list. This representation that we are asking for. And we are seeing this story from the Sun newspaper. Your thoughts?
So see, this is my mindset as regards federal character. It should not just be about where you are from. It should also be about the competence of the individual. And if you look hard enough, across every area, over 774 local government areas in this country, we have competent people, we have standard people. The accusation that I've also made is the fact that, see, it's tilted more towards the Yoruba tribe. I'm a Yoruba man, I'm telling you this. And I want a level of fairness. See, you will look at that list and you'll see a lot of North Central. Like some of these NNPC appointments recently made. They will claim they're from North Central, but they're from Yoruba ethnic group. And that's just what it has become. When people start to have that perception that, oh, it's a Yoruba government, that's not fair. And a leader must absolve themselves from all of this. See, let's go back to the Civil War. These were exactly the concerns during the Civil War. Federal character has always been a big issue. We all even set up a Federal Character Commission. We must be able to have a level of balancing, and that must start from the perspective of the leader. The leader must be able to incorporate many parts. It has to be said. Please correct me if I'm wrong. During Olusegun Obasanjo's time, did we ever have a need to say it was a Yoruba-based government? No. In fact, the accusation against Olusegun Obasanjo there was that it was a Southeast government, an Igbo government, because he embraced a lot of people From the Southeast. So that's what we are talking about. And you see, I do not like the vituperations and the jerking reactions from the presidency, because when you make any comment, they think you are attacking them. No, we want the best for the country.
Right.
They should stop this constant case of Jakboroism. Jakboro, forget
What does it mean?
Jakboro means you wiggle. You are so quick to respond. No. And Ali Ndume was apt when he said, we know that their foot soldiers are going to come at me.
Yeah.
So please, let us remove that. Secondly, I have not gotten the empirical list. I don't want to comment based on not having empirical facts.
All right.
But if the feelers I'm hearing as regards the quality of persons being considered for ambassadorial position, Nigeria has become a joke.
All right.
It is dancing wiggle, 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 wiggle.
All right, Rufai, you and your words. You know, my dad asked me once to ask you, Rufai. You said Werekbe. What is Werekbe? He wants to know.
Means
when you criticize them, it affects them like Werekbe. Dr. Abati, your thoughts?
Look, what we're dealing with is a problem at the heart of the Nigerian national question.
Yes.
It speaks to the fact that we're not yet a nation. We're a country whereby everything is looked at from the prism of religion and ethnicity. Every Nigerian that gets to power at the center plays the politics of proximity, plays the politics of what Matthew Kuka calls the Maronization of power, and does not also feel safe with people from other parts of Nigeria. You want your own people, thinking that your own people are the ones that will make you safe. That's why, go and check. When they appoint chief security officer, ADC and all that, they usually pick people from their areas. So, and this problem has been there. It was part of the reason for the Civil War. Decree number 34 of 1966, the unification decree introduced by Ononsi. People say, oh, this was supposed to help Igbos because, an Igbo man was there, and they looked at the government and they said Igbos were dominating everywhere. We have not recovered from that root cause in this country. That's why I have argued elsewhere that this federal character that we're talking about, yes, there is the whole purpose under Section 14, sub 3 of the Constitution is about equity, fairness,
that's it.
Diversity.
That's it.
But also, there should be an emphasis on competence, ability. The president of Nigeria, in dispensing patronage, I said over 5,000 positions that can be dispensed by the federal government of Nigeria. It is up to the president to make sure that there is fairness, equity. But should we get to a point in this country? That's the question.
That's the question.
When we should say there should be meritocracy.
Yes.
I'm sitting here, wasting volumes of saliva every day. But in this same country, you have touts in important positions.
Correct.
You have Division 3 persons in important positions.
Yeah, I was told Agbero is tout. Agbero.
No, my definition yesterday, I said street tax collectors.
This is tout. Touts are street tax collectors.
No, well, I didn't use the word tout. I said street tax collectors.
Go ahead.
That's the elegant that I used. So this is this country where you have Division 3 people in important positions, just because they have godfathers, just because they come from a particular part of the country. This is a country where a boy from Anambra will score over 300 in JAMB examination. He will not get admission. Somebody will score 100 from Kebbi State. He will enter university, and then before you know it, he will end up as a permanent secretary or as a Supreme Court judge.
Right. All right.
No, that kind of thing does not go well for national development.
All right.
This is the question. We have to return to that conversation when we merit matter in Nigeria.
Well said. We are appealing for meritocracy. Meritocracy, really.